Welcome to the Editor's Note Comics Podcast.
I think that this world, it needs men that are willing to make the hard call.
Central Maine's best comics podcast, by default.
Ain't no thing like me except me.
Here are your hosts, Zach and Jared.
Maps come with me. No. When do we start?
Whoa! Okay, it actually went good.
Are we on a carnival ride?
It didn't quite start. Welcome back to the show. It's the end of 2016.
Well, you say welcome back to the show like we'd been just sitting here waiting for people to come back to us.
I assume they listen to these back to back and just fall asleep to them. It's like easy listening.
It's not easy listening sometimes. It's very hard listening.
Except my voice is grating.
Yeah, your voice really doesn't put me to sleep.
Welcome to our very first clip show. Roll the clip! No, we don't hate you that much.
Oh, I was like, wait a minute.
I wouldn't actually do it.
Wait a minute.
But
settle down.
You know why we couldn't actually do a clip show? The real reason I won't do one?
Because it's a lot of work.
Who knows how much work it would be. But I don't want to go back and comb through episodes, and nothing like really stands out in my mind.
No.
I just wouldn't go. I wouldn't want to go back. If someone
Never go back.
If someone edited,
always go forward.
If someone edited one for me, I'd be like, great, I'm on board. I'll just record a quick intro call today.
Oh wow, and I get another week off.
Yeah, but we'll never do a clip show because I won't.
You don't want to do like a flashback show, like
no.
The main character's like in a coma, and his friends are all remembering, about him through flashbacks of the season. And
I might do that for next week because what I'm thinking we'll do next week, we're going to do a preview of kind of all the big movies. I haven't decided if we'll do more than that for 2017, but I want to give reviews from the future. See how accurate we can be.
That's interesting.
Reviews from the future.
Wow.
That'll be next
Tomorrow's
week.
news today.
Yeah.
I like it.
But welcome to the end of the year. Christmas happened.
How was yours?
It was good. I think I got sick.
Oh.
Aside from that, it was good.
Oh, excellent. So Santa brought you, disease.
Germ warfare.
Germ warfare. Wow. Santa's really getting down.
But what's sad is Santa's airborne.
Yeah, so you can spread
so
that.
This is dangerous now.
He spreads it, and he did it all in one night.
I told you, I took 2 naps yesterday. That's 2 more naps than I took in all of 2016.
That's impressive.
That's not good.
Yeah, it's not good that you didn't take a nap in the prior 360 days or 350 days.
Man. It was one of those, the first one, I'm like, maybe I was just tired. When the second one happened, I'm like, this is not good.
I took a big size nap. Well, Christmas takes a lot out. I hosted, and even though it was a small gathering, there's still a lot. You get up, clean, make cookies, all that. There's a lot to it.
We got a thing to address. Hey, all of you listening to this on a Thursday. This is our first week where we had some people. They got it yesterday. They got it on a normal Wednesday.
Is there such a thing as a normal Wednesday?
Patreon Wednesday.
Patreon Wednesday. Well, it'd be a normal Wednesday.
We started our Patreon last week. This is the first episode. Again, I hope I'm saying this now. I hope it's accurate. It went up for Patreon subscribers yesterday. We got a couple.
Yeah, you told me the good news that we did have some people willing to shell out a couple of bucks to listen to us.
But
a day early. And
I'll continue to promote that. But yeah, if you're listening to this on a Thursday, we do have it a day early. It's $5 a month. And with that, you also get some additional videos and additional podcasts. We'll build on it. So if you want to listen to the show a day early, you can find it on our Patreon. That being said, it's time for news.
Before we get started, does anyone want to get out?
It's time for the news.
Let's do the biggie.
The sad news just happened today.
It was this morning.
Being Tuesday.
I don't feel the need to kind of recount everything that led up to it because this was basically the end of last week for me. Was checking Twitter and checking the news to see if there were any updates.
Yes, just constant refresh.
Basically,
when you saw the story, you're like, 2016 got another one, because it's like, it didn't sound good initially.
What was really weird for me that morning, because I think that must have been Saturday.
Well, the thing...
because I was procrastinating at work. So I was literally that morning...
No, it was Friday.
Oh, was that Friday?
It was Friday.
Whatever. Either way, that morning I was putting off some projects I had to do and didn't want to do. So I was literally watching interviews with her that morning.
Yeah.
From the book tour, because I knew she had just done Graham Norton, so I was watching the Graham Norton show, which I think was the last one.
Yep.
So I was literally watching interviews with her that morning just because I, find her engaging and funny and a woman with no reservations.
None
all.
whatsoever. But
And then we got the news.
yeah,
And then things looked like they were getting better as of yesterday.
yeah, and then today, not so much.
Yeah.
It's gotten to the point where on Twitter, if I see a famous person trending,
Yeah, I know that. I mean, it's how I found out that the heart attack had happened, and it's how
Yeah.
I saw that the death happened.
yeah, Carrie Fisher. I mean, it's tough to swallow.
I mean, it was, obviously sad what happened, but I saw a lot of stuff today. I mean, obviously there was a lot of, sad tweets and whatnot, but I saw a lot of, this big outpouring of positivity, too, which I think probably would have been
Yeah.
closer to her jam for what she would have wanted. There was, people releasing, old interviews, I know I retweeted, her doing a thing for the American Film Institute for George Lucas, which is just hysterical.
Yeah.
She ends it with, George, I better have slept to get this job, because otherwise, who the hell was that guy? And just stuff like that. And
But she,
I saw some great stuff, her script pages from Empire.
oh yeah, she rewrote. She was
She was a script doctor
Probably
for
one
a
of the
long time.
best script doctors in Hollywood.
You saw some pages from Empire where she was just tearing it apart.
Oh well, I mean, I think it was Empire Dreams, the documentary. She's like, George, you can write this stuff, but nobody can act it.
No, that
And,
was Harrison
oh,
Ford.
it's Harrison, yeah. But I mean,
But yeah, she altered
Brilliant.
everything. She made an impact on it, and was a big, very vocal voice with mental health and addiction and bipolar, and a talented writer.
yeah. But just
I mean, growing up, anyone our age, who wasn't in love with Leia growing up?
oh god, Princess Leia. It was like
That was the first crush.
absolutely.
Oh, I mean, she said some stuff that's hysterical. She's like, oh yeah, I've slept with a ton of Star Wars fans. They're the best lovers because they're so grateful.
Yes.
She was so funny. She had so much charisma. I
Hilarious.
love the thing that things she would say. I think one of my favorite things in recent years, I guess it was just last year actually, there was an episode of Conan that they got all of the Star Wars Episode 7 cast to do, and she kills on that on a level that's just can't be topped.
Well, she just doesn't. She
And
didn't
had
care.
Gary Fisher. I love that she had a dog named Gary Fisher.
She just doesn't. She didn't care. She just was gonna live her life and enjoy it, and that was that.
Or when even being credited in Blues Brothers as the mystery woman, even though it was 1980, we weren't alive.
Yeah.
Everyone knew who she was.
Yeah.
Mystery woman. That was when she was engaged to Dan Aykroyd.
That's true. That was a thing.
Yeah.
So, but here's one for Carrie Fisher.
Maybe go do something positive for the mental health community.
I was looking towards Alderaan. Too soon for Alderaan.
I think, and I'm not saying this facetiously just because this happened today. I literally think she was my favorite celebrity. She was just so funny and engaging.
Yeah.
She definitely had some stock answers, but you'd see her come up with a lot of the stuff just on the spot.
On the spot,
She was
just
so funny.
She was one of a kind, and definitely gonna miss her. Even though you don't have that.
No,
Yeah.
she's not someone you have a personal connection with, but
But you
people
still
who create
miss-
art, they make an impact, and
Yeah.
she made an impact, and she found a way to make an impact in more ways than one. It wasn't just acting.
Well, I mean, she had her hands in most of those iconic '90s movies.
Yeah, a ton of stuff.
Carrie
She will
Fisher.
be missed.
She will indeed.
If there is a heaven, I feel like she's making fun of everyone right now.
Oh, probably.
Just
Absolutely.
yelling at her, nerds.
Oh goodness. What we got some happy news?
I don't know. I'm sorry she's gone, but she did make a very positive impact.
Mm.
And also, I'm just going to throw this out there. We've been talking about it, honestly, for a couple of months. I'm not going to do the holiday special for a little while. If we're still around in a year, we'll do it next year. But right now, it's...
Just don't feel the ability to.
because I'm going to mock her mercilessly, and it's not the time.
Fair enough.
In all fairness, that deserves it. But it's being poor taste.
I would agree.
So instead, we're going to do...
All those George Michael, this was his last Christmas jokes on Christmas.
Or it could be Sarah Michelle Gellar and be like, Boy George, no!
That was a big screw up on her part. Or maybe she was saying that about him being on The Celebrity Apprentice this coming season.
No, she's like, sorry, he's dead.
Oh,
They're
no.
like, George Michael.
There's a difference.
Staying in the world of Star Wars, Forrest Whitaker is going to reprise his role as Saw Gerrera in Star Wars Rebels,
Really?
which will be the first time that character's been in that show. He came out of the Clone Wars. Will he ham it up quite as much as he did in Rogue One?
I hope so. I
know,
liked him
right?
in Rogue
No,
One.
so did I, but it's one of those things where you're like, is this good acting or bad acting? I can't tell, but I'm enjoying it.
Then enjoy it. Forrest Whitaker's won an Oscar. He's a good actor.
Plenty of bad actors have won Oscars.
Forrest Whitaker is not a bad actor.
What was the last really memorable performance he did?
Last King of Scotland?
Okay, that was 12 years ago.
No, it wasn't 12 years ago. Last King of Scotland was 4 years ago or 5 years ago. Fact check the show, as usual.
Nope. Because I threw out a thing, you couldn't think of one that was recent.
When I started to Google Last King of Scotland, some of the options, one of them was Last King of Scotland fart. You're right, it was 10 years ago, son of a bitch. I want to propose the Editor's Note comic bingo game, where we should just make up some bingo cards, and anything that happens in the show, you kind of can fill it out.
Yeah, but I could make my own different version of that. Every time I say to transition, and every time you say if I did a shot every time that happened, I'd be drunk 10 minutes into editing.
Well, I was going to say we could do the Editor's Note comic drinking game, but I feel like that'd be in poor taste.
Every time I say easy does it, you take a drink.
Easy does. Every time I say gotta fact check the show. I like us to be accurate, that's all. I want to make sure that we're providing accurate infotainment.
Blade Runner, a little bit of news there. Potentially there's going to be some sequels, depending on how well this one does, which is a surprise to no one, but the movie will be rated R.
Good. I like it. Edgy.
Yeah, Blade Runner it's not unfriendly sci-fi, but I think it's better if you're not going for that PG-13 audience.
No, I would agree. I think that you need to stop limiting the scope of what you're trying to tell for a story based on how many tickets you want to sell. I think Blade Runner lends itself to an R rating, and I think that you detract from it when you try and get a lower rating, because the honest to God thing is that kids that are on that borderline are going to get into that movie anyway. It's not like...
I probably saw the first Blade Runner, I don't know, let's call it between 11 and 13, that range.
Well, George Lucas didn't fight the PG-13 rating for episode 3. He's like, this is a story I want to tell, and if they rate it PG-13, they rate it PG-13.
Yep, he got to tell the exact story he wanted to tell. He really could have used someone to say no. Looks like Superman is going to be in the Shazam movie. So you'll have Henry Cavill's Superman fighting The Rock.
Now we're talking. But this is what the Shazam movie's got to come out after the Justice League movie.
It was 2019, I want to say 2019.
Because we got to get Superman back from the dead, and that's going to happen in Justice League.
Yeah, we already know that from promo photos. But it was really because Dwayne The Rock Johnson put up a photo on Christmas on Instagram of he's like, oh, Henry Cavill's over here. We're just having a nice drink. What? And then worlds are gonna collide in Shazam and blah blah blah.
I love
Henry
The Rock.
Cavill, huge dude. Next to The Rock, wee little man.
Oh, The Rock is a massive, huge individual.
It takes a certain kind of guy to make Henry Cavill look small.
And that probably is The Rock.
Yeah, it's just
what's
God,
The Rock?
He's large.
How tall is The Rock?
I don't know. They're sitting down in the photo, but just looking at his arms next to Henry Cavill's head. God, he's big.
Dwayne Johnson, let's take a look and see. He is listed as 6'5", 260.
Ooh.
I don't think you're going to find an ounce of fat. Oh, that was when he was in the WWE. He was 6'5", 260.
I think he's bigger now.
He's not small. I will give him that. And he's just in everything.
I like Henry Cavill as Superman. I don't think he's gotten a chance to kind of shine yet, but I don't think that's his fault.
No, I think he's been handcuffed by script and by story.
So I'm looking forward to that. Who's more charismatic than The Rock?
Nobody. The Rock could have run for president this year, and he would have won all 50 states.
Yeah. Did we talk about this? Did you see the Baywatch trailer?
I have not seen the Baywatch trailer.
Okay, we didn't talk about this. And I say this as someone who thought this was the stupidest idea ever.
Him standing next to Zac Efron makes Zac Efron... Zac Efron looks kind of like he's bulked up a little bit. But The Rock is just... He's big.
No, Baywatch looks funny. And believe me, that's a hard sentence for me to say, but it looks good. Something neat that came out this week. So, in the War of the Planet of the Apes trailer, we saw that they were riding around on a horse with a little girl. That's going to be a character from the original movie named Nova. She was a mute character that Charlton Heston ran around with.
Okay, yeah.
But it's just, we're getting kind of a repeat character, but also we could be working up towards the original Planet of the Apes. They kind of seem to be laying those seeds, and I know you said you haven't seen them, but in the first one, you see the spaceship take off. It's just a quick flash on TV that Charlton Heston was on before he time travels to the future. And now we're getting to the point where the apes are taking over, and now they're getting involved with the character that we know still has to age like another 20 plus years before it should be around Charlton Heston's age.
Yeah.
So we could be building up towards the original Planet of the Apes.
Long-term storytelling.
Yeah, I mean, the movies make money.
Yeah.
They don't make a ton of money, but they make enough.
They make enough movies that they make enough money that it all kind of works itself out.
So I thought that was interesting. And last bit of news, it is a bit of a light news week just because of the holiday. Alien Covenant dropped a trailer on Christmas.
Red Band trailer, too.
Yep, and I'm not breaking this down right now. And then I really didn't bother breaking it down all that much. I watched it twice and it went good enough.
Good.
Usually when I watch these, I'm like, with the space bar trying to read into everything.
Yeah.
So I was just like,
there's probably
tired.
a lot there.
I'm really tired.
There's a lot to mine out of it.
The end of the year, and for anyone who has any kind of business, but I have to go through and count literally my entire inventory, and it is time consuming. I'm like, I don't have time to do a trailer breakdown.
Yeah. It's supposed to bridge Prometheus to
Not entirely.
the original Aliens.
They still have another 2 movies planned after this before it connects.
Yeah. But this is making...
Until Ridley Scott
progress.
dies, because he's old.
There's progress being made, though, towards that. I
Yeah.
love that you get the Face Eater. The Face Eater's in it.
Face hugger, but yeah.
Face Hugger, Face Eater. It's not hugging your face. It's killing you. There was definitely had some,
There's
good strains of, terror in it. The horror.
Yeah,
the
this is more of a horror movie like the original one. Prometheus is not a scary movie.
No, this looks like it has some scary jump scene. The shower scene.
That reminds me of Psycho. There's right down to the angle. That's straight up a Psycho reference. The same shot of the girl screaming is identical to the one on Janet Leigh.
There was also the girl in the medical room, and the guy has the thing bursting out of his back,
Which is different. That's a change. The alien is different here.
Yeah.
Versus popping out of your stomach.
What about the thing that floated into the guy's ear?
It almost looks like some kind of a spore. So I guess what this is they're supposed to. This was originally called Alien Paradise Lost.
Yeah.
And this is supposed to be some kind of weird alien paradise, even though it looks like a planet of mud. We get Fassbender in this movie. There's some differences here. So he was an android in the last one, but he had his head ripped off. Seems to be doing okay, but I think that might be we might be seeing inside of his circuitry because he's also has a different hair color.
He also could
the last
have
one,
just gotten his head replaced. I mean, it's not
No, he was running around in a bag. Well, he wasn't really running. He was being carried around in a duffel bag. But he's also a brunette in this compared to the last one where he was this weird, creepy platinum blonde.
Well, remember Data dyed his hair once.
Yes, he did.
And grew a beard.
He also did that.
So I'm just saying.
The beard, it was a terrible beard.
No, he said it was a stately beard that commands respect and dignity.
What do you call a wig when it's a beard?
It's not a merkin.
No, it's not a merkin. I know that term, but
I'm sure you do.
I don't know beard wig.
Let's find out.
I'm just going to call it Bowig.
Bowig?
Berwig?
Well, toupee, a two-beard? A beard peg?
Either way, I think we're seeing inside his head because everything else looks like that old grimy sci-fi. They show Fassbender with a grand piano in a stark room. So I'm going to say he's in his own head.
Fake beard. Call it a fake beard.
Either way, Data had a bad beard.
Yes.
That's all I'm trying to get around to.
What do you call a beard wig? A postache. And then the second one is merkin. Is the second.
Don't look. Nope. Avoid that one.
I know what a merkin is.
Not a lot to say. This is one that I think looks really good. I'm excited about it. But here's the deal. Not going to see it in theaters.
No?
I don't think you are either.
No, I'm not big on...
I love the first 2 movies, and I do. I mean, they're amazing, great movies. But the reality is there's so much coming out this summer. there's just not enough time, and also just not enough money. Like dropping $20 a week to go see a movie isn't happening.
Well, yeah, good point.
There's so much good coming out this summer. I'm not gonna see this movie.
But do you think
I'm gonna see it when it comes out on Redbox, but I'm not gonna.
But do you think that's going to diminish the effect? Because I think that's the kind of movie that like begs to be seen on the big screen with the giant surround sound in the dark.
But if there's I don't know. There's also the side of me I don't like watching horror movies with an audience.
Because you don't want them to hear you scream like a sissy girl.
I don't want to hear them.
Oh.
And there's also something about like the solitude of like watching a horror movie from your own home.
That way when you urinate yourself, you can just go change very quickly and quietly and no one's going to notice.
That only happened one time. Yeah, Alien Covenant looks good. I'll see it on Redbox. I'm sorry.
No, you're not.
Well, I'm not sorry about the money.
Yeah, money's money.
Look, we can't do everything on this show. But we can do many things, including the topic of the week, which is we don't really have a theme song for because we're just kind of talking about a thing. It's not really a review. It's not really an editor's education, our rarely used theme music.
It's kind of a review.
Kind of.
We're hopping in the old time machine.
I can't transition well to this. We are talking about 2016 year in review, the top 5 best and top 5 worst things of the year. The only things I'm excluding are politics and my personal life.
Oh.
Because this would be a different list on both ends.
Oh, really?
If you've talked to me for more than 5 minutes, you can probably guess what would sneak onto the best and what would top the worst. Actually, we'll probably top the best and the worst. You can probably guess both those things.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I don't know how to. I try to avoid those things. We're moving on. Let's.
So you pretty much gave them away anyway.
The best trumps the worst, I guess.
Oh, I see what you did
I
there.
didn't mean to, but yeah, it works. Oh, nothing trumps the worst.
Wouldn't nothing Trump be the best?
Not going there.
Okay.
Let's start negative because, as we mentioned, there's been a lot of rough stuff in 2016. So why don't we start negative? We'll go out on a high note.
Or as negative, or as I would call it, resting Zach face.
Yeah. In mine, I realized I did these lists. I don't really have them in a specific order. I know what my number 1 worst is, but the other ones are kind of flip a coin that could go anywhere. Flip a 4-sided coin.
Okay. 3.
No, I can't identify them. Do you want to start it off? Give us random one of your top worst. If we have duplicates, we'll just kind of jump in.
Random one of my top worst. I'm gonna go with Harambe memes and bottle flipping.
I don't have to deal with the bottle flipping thing because I'm not in high
bottle
school.
flipping is, oh my god, I can't stand it. And now they're trying to get like real creative, or at least they think they're being creative, by trying to get the bottles to land on things like the speakers in the gym that are high up. They're doing that on my desk from across the classroom. Bottle flipping is one of my worst things. And the Harambe memes, I mean...
you're not helping the Harambe thing. Did you see that one guy who tweeted us? He's like, Jared hasn't mentioned Harambe in 2 episodes.
Well, that's part for you. I'm here for you. No, so I would say definitely bottle flipping, though, from a pop culture standpoint.
Whatever, man. It's a thing.
Bottle flipping.
This is just a thing. This is a window into our lives and our opinions.
Thank you.
So bottle flipping. I have 2 that kind of cover two areas. I'm going to call this the increase of fad comic characters.
Okay.
And these are 2 very specific characters who have very loyal fans, but they also like blew up really big and then crashed hard. The bubble burst twice this year. Can you guess what those 2 characters who rose and fell?
I'm going to guess Harley Quinn.
That's number 1, or that's one of 2.
And...
Deadpool. It's Deadpool.
Deadpool.
These are characters that they have really big fan bases, but they also went through this big fad this year. And for a little while, I was like, for a couple of months this year, like my money was either just Deadpool money or just Harley money. And they were my bread and butter, but then the bubble burst hard.
And there was no Harley money.
Well, there's not no Harley money. There's still Harley money, but now I have a lot of leftover Harley and a lot of leftover Deadpool.
So you kind of overbought.
You know, if I could predict the future, I would.
Would you put some money on the Cubbies? Oh, come on. Pick up the reference.
I got it.
Pick it up.
I'm putting it down.
All right.
But yeah, I'm going to say the rise of fad characters and then the hard fall of them. Both still popular characters, still a lot of fans out for both. but from my end of things, and then they pump out so many side books, and then the side books happen after the bubble has already burst, and it's just... It's like trying to just hold on to that. Like, they're still popular. People still care. They don't. Stop pushing this.
If I could take a picture of your face right now and put it on the
I'm just yelling at
Facebook or Twitter.
major companies. All right, what else you got?
I am going to. Well, you said no politics, so we can. I'm gonna just say like the general mood of the country, kind of this like
Yeah, that
divisiveness. I don't like it. I feel like
no,
we're not.
No matter where you stand, it was kind of a rough
Yeah,
year.
either side of it. I mean, it's just kind of
I'd
all the negativity in this town really sucks.
It's not. I don't have it down because I kept mine more pop culture, but I would say vilifying others.
Yeah, not cool, America. Not cool. It's okay to not like something or somebody. Just don't make it evil because you don't like it. I'm getting off my soapbox now.
Except for the stuff that's actually evil. But I'm not going to get into that. X-Men Apocalypse. That was a piece of crap.
Oh, that was yeah, upon further review, I liked it at the time, but upon further review, it's just kind of
it didn't make any damn sense. Oscar Isaacs was wasted. I hate the ending of Magneto. Nick Xavier be like, "Goodbye, old friend." I'm like, "Do you not Magneto killed possibly millions in this."
And you're just going to let him go.
You're like, "Goodbye, old friend." And I hate making, as much as I love Hugh Jackman, the obligatory Wolverine cameo just to squeeze it in there. Making the movie about Jennifer Lawrence again when she doesn't even care. All of it. This random, forgetting when their powers are a thing.
So
It's dumb X-related puns or symbols.
It's basically taking, all of those movies and trying to tie them all together, and it's just...
Trying to pretend that Bryan Singer is any better than just a point-and-shoot director. He's not. So I got, there we go. X-Men Apocalypse. What else you got?
Pokemon Go.
Okay.
Pokemon Go. Because,
Did you Pokemon go to the polls?
Yes, I did Pokemon Go to the polls.
That was the worst.
You are not having a very good podcast from a standpoint of, being audibly pleasing and, generally fun to be around.
Remember all this terrible stuff? That's why we're going to finish with the good.
So, Pokemon Go, the concept was cool, but, it was the prototypical 30-second attention span fad of 2016.
I still got some people who come by who do it.
I'm not, saying
not
that,
in the numbers that it was at first.
I'm not saying that, the game itself. I'm just saying, how everyone went absolutely apeshit over it, and then
Mob mentality.
And just, kind of the bottom fell out. I loved the concept of, getting people out and being active. Didn't like the concept of people, running into cars. Did you read the story about the young girl who found a couple of dead bodies? It just felt like all this, people just lost their shit over Pokemon Go for about 2 weeks, and it just died.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 3. Oh, how I hate you. It's gotten better in Season 4. And boy, it's just a show that, it has promise, then it falls off, then it gets good for a bit, then it gets pretty good, and then, the latter half of Season 2, through all of Season 3, was such a sharp nosedive. It was the worst. I hated everything about it. It's really turned itself around, but that's why I'm also putting that very specific Season 3, oh, you were the worst. It was
enough to make you just angry.
There was, they kept making promises they couldn't keep. It's like being in a bad relationship. I can change, baby. Can you?
I can change.
I'll believe you for now, but then you got worse.
Are there no 3 bigger words that make the biggest lie in any relationship? I can change.
Baby.
That's 4 words.
I know. We got 2 left for bad.
2 left for bad. I'm going to go and say that watching Turtles Christmas was a low light in my 2016.
It wasn't released in 2016.
No, but it certainly ruined a part of my 2016.
It echoed through the decades.
It echoes through ages and ages and ages. From a show standpoint, it was probably one of our better shows, but the pain that I had to
on
endure
the 4th day
watching
of Christmas, they repeated the same shot many times over.
Yes. What was it? 4 skateboard? No.
5 video games,
4 manhole covers? I don't know.
Maybe, yeah.
We sang it on the show. We were also a little full of merriment by that time.
Yes. I'm going to go to the world of comics, and You let me down here, guys. Civil War 2. This is the summer event of 2016 that's going to wrap up in January.
Global warming, man.
There were delays. There were delays and delays in the middle of the series. It's almost done, but the middle of it was boring. Like the first Civil War, I had a very good idea of where everyone stood. And then everyone gets together in the middle of this book and they're all fighting. And I'm going, who's for what? Like who's mad at who? What are we? Okay, these guys are fighting. What's going on there? And it didn't make a lot of sense. And it kind of fell through. The beginning of it was strong. I liked the concept of it. I understood the motivations. And then, let's say, 3 or 4 issues in, much like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., took a hard nosedive and then suffered delays. And yeah, I know it's because the artist had a kid for part of it. But still, it was bad. It was not a good series. And it, like I said, the summer event of 2016 that will make it into late winter.
Well, it's summer somewhere. It's always summer somewhere. It's always warm in
But
the
yeah,
tropics.
Civil War 2, big old disappointment. All right, number 1.
Celebrity deaths. There seem to be just. I know that I don't.
This
maybe
is one I
it's not-
chose to leave off.
You chose to leave off.
But
Why'd you leave it off?
mostly because of Twitter. And it's become kind of, and it's not something I ever want to, like, I get mad about it when I see it, but it's never the time to bring it up, including today even. I hate when people keep personifying 2016, and I feel like it takes away from the individual, like, in the tragedy, and it's like,
Yeah.
it's a bad joke that someone heard from someone funnier, and it's become like a game of telephone that has been so diluted, and it's so dumb.
Like,
and I
screw
think
you, 2016.
yeah, they're like, go
Yeah.
home 2016, you're drunk. Like, someone died. Someone's
Yeah.
family has been affected on a deeply personal, painful level, and this whole, like, 2016 you're a person thing, I think takes away from that wildly. I agree that, like, some of the artists we've lost, I mean, Bowie or Darwin Cook or Ron Glass or Carrie Fisher, like, and also for me
Prince,
personally,
Alan Rickman, George Michael.
I know, but a lot of I like was looking at a lot of like these celebrity names, and people were skipping like the ones that are in my world, like guys like Darwin Cook or
Yeah.
Steve Dillon, like a lot of these comic book guys, like no one cared about, which is a bummer.
I mean, let's see, David Bowie, Alan Rickman, Glenn Fry this year. I mean, I think for me, a lot of these, as I'm just kind of scrolling, I've written some down. Harper Lee.
It's I mean,
I
the
mean,
I don't think deaths increase, but the volume of certainly artistic deaths increase.
but I think it's also not just that, it's the like the connection as far as like these are people like I know better as celebrities because these are I've kind of grown up listening or watching them. And you know, Muhammad Ali this year.
oh yeah,
Forgot about Muhammad Ali. I'm just looking down through.
you know what
let's
I need
see
to
who
do that
else.
I haven't done, and this is something I have all intention of doing. I'll try and do it before the year's end.
Yeah, what's that?
Listen to Bowie's last album. I listened to one track on it, which is basically him talking about death, and after that I was like, that's really all I can take right now.
Kenny Baker
Yep.
was this year. Gene Wilder, Arnold Palmer, golf legend from kind of things that I like.
I didn't think it was the drink.
Leonard Cohen. Yeah, Florence Henderson. It was just a really John Glenn.
Oh, what? That's right. I totally forgot about that. That wasn't even that long ago.
John Glenn was like 2 weeks ago.
I know, and it's, man, yeah.
Yeah, December 8th. Zsa Zsa Gabor.
But I'd like
She hung in there, 99. That's impressive.
That one I can't really feel sad about because...
No, 99. But no, it felt like, you know, the
Yeah.
celebrity deaths this year were just...
I'd like to say, if there are deaths next year, remember them as people. Don't make it into a stupid joke.
Yeah, well, you know immediately the first celebrity died in 2017. Oh, 2017 is dressed up, but, you know, 2016 is still hanging
Yeah,
around.
I know.
Like,
I didn't like that one.
I don't like the, you know... Like, I tweeted today about the impending snowstorm for Thursday about, you know, 2016 is going to leave a party. Like, that is a much different scale than, you know, when somebody passes away and you blame the year and say, oh, 2016 is a real a-hole.
I think it diminishes it.
Yes. I don't think it does. I know it does. What's your number one disappointment, negative?
God, this will surprise no one. Really, I'm cramming 2 into 1. I found a way to make it extra bad.
Oh, boy. Wait. Can I guess? Might it have something to do with Suicide Squad?
Oh, it might.
And Batman vs Superman.
It might. We're calling this the DC Extended Universe.
The
What?
DCEFU.
Yeah, it is a little bit of that. That's what it felt like. It felt like a giant middle finger. You pick up on Mike, bud?
I think Kirby would agree.
There's a dog sleeping in my lap.
Yes.
Boy, what massive disappointments. And I haven't gone back to Suicide Squad yet, but God, 3 strikes already. Man of Steel, I'm not hugely against, I'm not hugely for, but I didn't have like a visceral reaction to it. I was like, that was entertaining. Not a good Superman movie, but entertaining.
You had visceral reactions.
Oh boy. And it's just grown. Like, it's just made me angrier throughout the year thinking about how bad these movies are. And I have, like, this false sense of hope for, like, Wonder Woman and Justice League. Yeah, maybe they'll be good. But in my heart, I'm like, they won't.
I can change, baby.
Yeah. It's basically that. What was Batman v Superman was, like, 3 years of build-up and sneaking out promo images. I mean, and I was there for all of it. And it just built and it built. And then it started to take that weird, like, is this going to be good? This doesn't feel like it's going to be good. And then we got in there, like, it'll still be good.
Yeah.
I never wanted...
I enjoyed it. I was entertained, but it wasn't like...
I hate Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor, and I never want to meet anyone named Martha for the rest of my life.
Martha, why are you saying that name?
Again, another time, like, did no one on set be like, we doing this? How can we give a good read of these lines? The short answer is you can't.
No.
And then Suicide Squad, the trailers looked great. It looked like it was going to be a lot of fun. David Ayer, I've enjoyed his movies so far. But then it was like, oh yeah, they put the script together in 6 weeks, did a ton of reshoots, and it all fell apart. And it doesn't make any damn sense, and I hate the ending. Especially, even one of the better characters, El Diablo, at the very end of being like, this is my family. I'm like, you are barely work acquaintances at this point. You've known each other for about 2 hours.
Yeah.
If this is your family, if someone said that to me, I'd be backing away slowly.
Maybe he was trying to, like, call the guy's bluff. I don't know.
Oh, man, it's so bad. It's like, oh, Batman showed up. That was nice. And other nice things I can say are... I'm honestly trying here.
Don't hurt yourself.
The Killer Croc makeup was as good as it could be.
Yeah, it was pretty good. It was better than The Thing in the 1994 Fantastic Four
Yes,
movie.
it was. But man, yeah, the DC... I know, Kirby, I agree. Let's all sigh at DC. Warner Brothers, you let me down hard. Hopefully next year will be better. But I mean, the sad thing is in my brain, and I'm so desperately want these movies to be good that in my head I'm like, well, they got Jeff Johns on there, but he got on there kind of late, the production of Justice League and Wonder Woman, so, I'll give them another 3 movies until Jeff kind of has his full impact. What am I doing?
I can change, baby.
Why am I forgiving these movies?
Just like it's like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., man. Just when you thought you were out, you get drawn back in.
I want them to
You
be
are a
good.
sucker. That's what you are. You
want
are a
them to-
patsy.
I just want them to be good. And they're not, but I want them to be.
You know that there's a sucker born every minute and 2 to take them? You're the guy that's born every minute, and there's 2 Hollywood movie people, right? There's the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. people and the DCEU people, and they're like, there's Zach Bowen.
I just want to throttle them.
But you won't.
In all fairness, they're kind of nameless and faceless to me.
Yeah, but you know what?
Actually, that's not true.
I guarantee.
I'm deeper
I
into
guarantee
that.
they've got your money for Wonder Woman, and they've already got your money for Justice League.
Yep.
So
They
there,
do.
yeah, they're winning. You can be depressed and all downtrodden all you want.
I know, what
They're
the hell?
winning. They're winning.
That's the worst of the year. Damn it, DC.
Let's go to the best.
Let's. I'm going to start this off because I need to rattle a few off. I think I mentioned this last week.
That sounds like a private time thing that you need to do.
I tried to do my top 5 of the year, and going back through the year, creatively, this was a pretty good year. And this is covering movies, books, music, whatever. Like, there's a lot I liked this year, so I tried to knock it down to 5, and I've even really questioned my 5. I think there might be one I want to kick out and switch it. I don't know. The lasting effects of it. Boy, I don't know. I'm just going to go with my original list.
There you go.
It might not be my real list. So, honorable mentions on the top 5 best things of the year, then we can go.
See, I think you're cheating by having honorable mentions.
I couldn't help myself. There's a lot I liked.
All right.
Serenity, coming back in comic book. Second follow-up series to the movie. Glad it's back. It's been really good. Kong, Skull Island, prequel to the 1933 Kong. I love that movie. It's one of my favorites. There's not a lot in canon, so it's good to have it there. Star Trek Beyond, a lot of fun. A lot to nitpick, but a lot of fun. The Hamilton mixtape. I haven't heard Ja Rule and Busta Rhymes in a while, and I missed them.
I listened to actually quite a bit of Ja Rule the other day.
But I'm saying new
And
stuff.
DMX. I had some DMX going the other day in the car.
Has he done new stuff?
No.
Okay, I was like, not that I'm aware of.
Did I show you the video of him singing Rudolph?
No. Yes, you
Yes.
have. Yep, yeah, you did.
He's like, let's go!
Star Wars Rogue One. Really close to making it into the top 5. I mentioned it a few weeks ago. The Nice Guys. Didn't see it in theaters. Wish I had. One of the best movies this year. End of Watch. Stephen King book. Finishing up a trilogy in the Mr. Mercedes trilogy. What's good about this is he actually gave a good ending to the book. And Stephen King, I usually love him till about, let's say 80% in, because the man doesn't know how to end a book to save his life. This one was good, though. Mad Max Fury Road came back with the black and chrome edition. It's a more metal version of Mad Max. It's in black and white, and it looks gorgeous.
How's the guitar player in that?
I love it
Is he
so much.
still badass?
There were, I think, 2 shots I noticed that were kind of diminished with the lack of color. And they most, because they keep on talking about, like, going to the green place. And there's 2 shots,
Yeah.
really, that have, there's a big shot of, like, kind of a greenhouse in the beginning of the movie. And then they also show a seedling, like, say, 60% of the way through. Those 2 shots, I thought, benefited from color going against the kind of sandy background. But everything else looked much better in black and white. And then kind of a smaller honorable mention, but I'm doing it anyway. Colossus and Deadpool. Not Deadpool the movie. Colossus, my favorite Marvel character. And in all of the X-Men movies, he has nothing to do. He's always there, but he doesn't do anything. X-Men 2, he's there. He has like 5 lines. Does a little bit, not much. X-Men The Last Stand, he has 1 line. Doesn't do all that much. X-Men Days of Future Past, he has a word. Doesn't do all that much. So finally getting him to actually do something in Deadpool. Finally. He gets to do something. And they went a little hard on like the whole straight man thing. But you know what? Best representation of him so far. It was good to see.
Wow. So you pretty much like... See, I feel like you could have condensed some of that down. You did have a couple in your honorable mention, which were in my top 5 of the year. So
I just wanted to crank him out.
I'm just gonna touch on those.
Yeah,
then.
hit the top 5. What do we got?
Well, I'm gonna hit you with the with one of them. I'm not gonna hit you with all 5 of them. Star Trek Beyond was in my top 5. I thought it made up for what Into Darkness.
It's a ton of fun. I like
I
that
thought
movie
it was a blast.
lot.
It was much. Into Darkness was very I liked it, but I didn't love it. This was great. This was Star Trek at its best. Going to unexplored worlds. It's a new story. It wasn't a rehash of the Khan story.
It felt like the most expensive episode they never did.
Oh, I loved it. Did it feel like a single episode? But again,
that's not a bad thing.
No.
That's what I want.
Well, he also talked about it being, Kirk in the beginning is like, my life is episodic.
Yeah.
I loved it. I thought it was, again, you were watching it when I came over tonight, the tail end of it.
That was a Christmas gift, and I watched the first half of it last night. Knew I couldn't finish it, so I finished it today. But at the very end, you're like, you're being nitpicky.
You were being super nitpicky.
Because they're like running away. They're going to let off this, airborne disease that's going to kill us all. I'm like, just transport him into space. And then at the end, they're like, Kirk is going to get blown into space. I'm like, again.
Just transport him.
Again, he's fine. Just, you have the technology. You used it multiple times in this movie while he's like leaping through the air.
Yeah.
You got him. He's cool. Don't worry about it.
Or when he shot Krill in the face, like in the side, and then you're like, just shoot him in the head.
He walks into a room, shoots him, and then he lets him talk about philosophy, which in Star Trek you have to do. I'm like, you shot him once. He's right there. Do it again. Keep shooting.
You gotta let the bad guy monologue a little bit.
No, shoot him in the head. Because I like that. Because that's what made me think of it. Because he walked into the room, didn't mess around,
just shot
through
him.
the door, shot him.
Yeah.
It's like, hang on, I need to talk for a little bit. He's like, I'm gonna let this happen. Sure, you could kill everyone here, kill countless more worlds, but I will hear you out. Shoot him in the face. Right in the face.
It's an advanced civilization. They've gone beyond just shooting people in the face.
No, face shot.
He's not a Klingon. He's just kill. Sto-Vo-Kor.
But I do like that movie a lot. It is a lot of fun.
And it's staying in outer space. I know it's recent, but I really, really liked Rogue One. I thought it was a great, fresh look at the Star Wars universe. It was a different view on it.
I think what makes it not in my top 5 is I don't think it's one that I'll ever grow to adore. It's one that will always like a lot.
Yeah, it's one that...
But I'm not going to feel the connection that I feel to the other like movies, which are mostly based on the characters.
Yeah. You know, the big argument was not a lot of character development. Well, you have 2 hours, you're not going to spend an hour developing, you know... Although, I mean, it may have helped the movie to develop them a little bit more, grow a little bit more attachment. I'm very interested to see, because there has to be, aside from money, there has to be some purpose behind this story that when we get to episode 8, we look back and how are they going to weave things in? Because I
think Vader's castle is going to come back.
Vader's castle definitely will come back.
I bet Kylo Ren will go there. But,
and you got to feel like Snoke may be something.
I doubt he's in there. But something really cool that came out that I didn't mention in the news because I thought this would be the time to bring it up. Rumor has it that Star Wars Rebels is going to be telling the story of Rogue One, but from like the perspective of attacking the base and not from the other characters' perspective. So I think it would be really cool. That'd be a fun way to tell that story. If you have 2 stories happening at the same time.
So no, I liked Rogue One. I thought it was a different and fresh kind of look at Star Wars. And I just watched episode 7 a couple nights ago for the first time in a while. And I still really enjoy that movie. It is. It's still fun and entertaining.
Well, you snuck 2 in, so I'm going to sneak 2 in, both with a very similar name. First up is a comic series that's kind of in the middle of itself right now, but it's so good it bears mentioning. Reborn. I haven't really talked about it on the show, or maybe I have, I don't know. But this is probably my favorite comic book series of the year. It's being done by Mark Millar and Greg Capullo. Mark Millar, he's done stuff like Kick-Ass, Your Old Man Logan, Jupiter Legacy, Empress also this year. He's the kind of guy who, and I'm hoping he doesn't do it here, he's like, I read Watchmen once, and that was really neat. So he always wants to try to emulate that mood. But he also tries to do, like, shock value for shock value's sake, just to be like, I'm subversive. Like, no, you're not. He's a real 50-50 kind of writer, but when he knocks it out of the park, he knocks it out of the park, and I'm loving Reborn.
I fanned through Watchmen once.
Yes, bad call. The basic premise of the story, and Greg Capullo, who's an amazing artist, really famous in the 90s for Spawn. He did some album covers like, I can't remember the album name, but it's one I was associating with the Korn album that has like a little girl hopscotching towards a cliff.
That's,
you know what I'm talking about, though.
Yeah. Oh, what the hell is the name of that album?
I don't remember. But that was
Freak on a Leash.
Yep. Yeah, and Greg Capullo did that.
No, that was the single. I don't think that's the name of the album.
But I think it's off that album, yeah.
Yeah.
But that was Greg Capullo's art. Most recently, in the last 5 years, he's got really famous for doing his critically acclaimed run on Batman. But the short premise of this comic is there's this woman, Bonnie.
Follow the Leaders, that Korn album.
Okay. But Bonnie has led a full life, and she dies. And then Bonnie wakes up like in her like 20-something body, and she's greeted by her father, and it's kind of like this Lord of the Rings, Star Wars-y kind of world that's the afterlife. But Bonnie's like this chosen messiah, and she has to like learn all of her skills, and her long dead father is there to greet her. Like all of your old pets are there and stuff. Like one of her villains is their childhood cat. They're like, well, why do you hate her so much? It's like, when I was 6 months old, they took my testicles. So that's his motivation for being evil. Well, they neutered him.
That would piss me off. Just wake up and didn't have them.
But it's crazy. The series is so good. There are only 3 issues in, but I mean, it's so good. It cracked the top 5 for me. I'm sure there's already been a movie, because usually I think Mark Millar does. There's a movie deal associated with it. But man, go read Reborn. I love it so much. It's the best comic series I read all year.
Nice.
I hope it finishes strong, because my opinion might change, but at least the first 3 are knocking it out of the park. And then I'll do one with a similar title, and then we'll go back to you.
Okay.
And I know I talked about this on the show, the DC Rebirth special. I said it then and I'll say it now. It's one of the best individual issues I've ever read. Rebirth, the event, the sales are starting to level out to what they're going to be, but still, that first book, that was nothing but a promise for the future, and bringing back one of my all-time favorite characters with Wally West. I loved that book. I love that book to death. It was a great way to start the world. And I don't know, even if it falls off, and hopefully it won't, they're still building towards, they have like a 2-year long game planned out, and they're still building towards it with all the Watchmen stuff, but just the promise that it gave and the reaction that I got out of that individual special, top-notch stuff, great storytelling. All right, what else you got?
I'm going to kind of throw a blanket, an umbrella over a wide-arching one here, but the Marvel Cinematic Universe continues to friggin' crush it.
Yeah.
Deadpool was amazing. Civil War was fantastic. Doctor Strange was great.
I have Civil War in there for one of mine. I don't have it in order here, but Civil War I put it in top 5 of the year.
Yeah. Well, they just continue to pump out great movies that keep things moving forward and building. They have direction. They have purpose. I mean,
Civil War is another one you could nitpick, but it's a hell of a lot of fun.
Oh, that's a lot of fun. I really, really liked Doctor Strange.
Yeah, I think Doctor Strange, it was a little... It's so funny because, I've said this, I know I said it on the show, I've said it to people in the store. If it came out 10 years ago, I think it was the greatest thing ever. But now that we've had enough of these movies, it felt a little formulaic. But Civil War, man, it was
good.
Something else.
It was very, very good.
Like I said,
but they just
strongest Captain America movie, and name me another trilogy where the movies got progressively better.
I mean, let's be honest though. That was Civil War was kind of like a sub-Avengers movie,
but it's still focused on Cap. It's great.
It was. I mean, what's not to like about what the Marvel movies are doing? They have an established universe at this point, which is great.
One of the longest running film series, and they're still delivering strong.
Oh yeah, I mean, nothing was a step back. It didn't feel and it doesn't. I would think at some point you'd start to think, well, this feels stale. It doesn't feel, because it's such great patience in long-term storytelling. I think back to Iron Man. What was that? 2004 to
2008.
It was the first Iron Man movie.
Mm-hmm.
So think of the long-term storytelling that they're doing.
Yeah, that was the transition summer when this stuff actually became culturally acceptable. Because that was the same summer as Dark Knight and also the Incredible Hulk, which is kind of a garbage movie, but neither here nor there. But either way, 2008 was the summer of the transition.
But I love how they're pushing forward the Infinity Gems, the Infinity Stones. I love what they're doing, and the movies continue to just be a ton of fun.
That also covered one of mine. All right, what else you got? Because we should have 2 more each.
I'm going to shift gears. The Cubs winning the World Series was pretty darn cool. That whole World Series.
Even I was marginally aware of it.
Yeah, but I mean, it was kind of like, even that, you get Game 7 in a World Series. You got 2 franchises looking to end long droughts. I mean, there's just so much. It was great drama, and it was coming at a time when the country really needed a distraction from a lot of different things, and it was America's pastime kind of taken front and center again. I mean, let's be honest right now, football is the number 1 sport in America. It's not baseball anymore, but for, that week and a half, 2 weeks.
But at least the rest of the world still cares about baseball. The rest of the world doesn't care about football as much.
No, I mean, well, the rest of the world really cares about soccer, but neither here nor there. It was just a good distraction from everything that was going on.
I mean, it reminded me a lot of, and I'm sure you'll be able to rattle off the date perfectly for me, but it was 2004 with the Red Sox?
2004.
It reminded me a lot of that.
Yeah, well, the best part about that was, I wish I could I wonder if there still are, was the Chicago scanner hashtag for the riots afterwards. There was some really, really funny things that were happening. Let's see if I can, Chicago, actually, I'm just going to, instead of bring it up on Twitter, I'm going to see if I can find on Chrome, Best of Chicago Scanner.
I'm going to move on to my number 2 then.
Yeah.
Which isn't actually a number 2. I promise these are in no specific order. And realistically, this could probably be my number 1, but so could a lot of these other things. Better Call Saul, Season 2. This is the best show on television. The best show on television.
Well, you were a big Breaking Bad guy.
I didn't pick up on it until the very end. I was mostly because I knew a couple of little weird personal life stuff, but just people who were hardcore into drugs, Breaking Bad's amazing. I'm like, of course you think that. So I had a little bit of a stigma going in. But Better Call Saul is the best show on television. I love to watch stuff just because, obviously, my college education and now my professional life, my life revolves around story, and I love it when there's something out there where I don't see things coming, and I get, I don't know what you call it, like almost like excited, like this kind of like happy mad. I'm like, damn, these writers are smart. These people are much smarter than me. Like, they craft a story that I don't see coming, and it's so smart and so clever, and I love it so much. That show is amazing. I cannot recommend it highly enough. And I hate that it's like a year in between seasons, because I am dying to watch more of it.
Would you cycle back and watch them just to watch it?
There's not even a date for season 3 yet. When there's a season 3 date, I probably will.
Just to refresh?
But one of the things they're also doing, which now that they've done 2 seasons, I can kind of confirm it's what they're doing, and I hate it so much. So even though this is a prequel show to Breaking Bad, and I hate that they're doing this, and they know what they're doing. God, they know what they're doing. The first couple of minutes of season 1 and the first couple of minutes of season 2, only episode 1 on both of those, have been sequel scenes of Saul to Breaking Bad. And seeing what's happening to him afterwards, and it kills me that I know you have to wait a year in between those couple of minutes. Yeah. So, because that happened at the beginning of season 1, and I was like, okay, we're gonna do this every episode. Like, no, Carrie, we're at least gonna like get something in the last episode. Like, maybe we're gonna tie it back. And I'm like, nope. In season 2, the same thing, just a couple of small minutes. Oh, you bastards! I want it so badly.
They've got you hooked.
Oh my god, I love Better Call Saul is the best thing on television. I love the show so much. It's so smart. I love being outsmarted in stories. And that show does it in spades every episode. And the fact that they did 5 seasons of Breaking Bad and this, and it's just the best damn television out there. Sorry, that actually might be my number 1. Better Call Saul.
That probably is your number 1. By the way, I pulled up some of those tweets from Chicago Scanner from the night the Cubs won the World Series. Multiple subjects just took down an electric pole and are carrying it down the street with live wires.
God, that's dangerous.
Fans have broken into Wrigley Field. Apparently now there's a naked man on the mound of Wrigley Field. Multiple people ripping the roof off of a box truck. Another guy climbing onto a light pole. EMS needed for the guy who climbed up the light pole and then fell down. I also like this one. Bucket truck driving down the street, people jumping onto it. And then, people trying to force their way into the liquor stores they're trying to close at 1:20 in the morning. There you go. Not to mention the people that were throwing firecrackers at the gas station. Way to be Chicago.
All right, what do you got for not necessarily your number 1, but the last thing we'll mention?
I want to say the podcast. The podcast has been a highlight of 2016. It's been fun every week to get together and talk about these things.
God, that's pandering.
It is pandering. I know to pander to people, and I think this is it's been fun. So yeah, I would definitely throw that out there.
And the last one I'm going to mention, this technically started in 2015, but the majority of it was 2016, and also a new series started up. Batman Turtles crossover. How can that not be on mine? It's like
that's a very good point.
It's like my 2 favorite things.
2 of your very much favorite things
come together for the first time ever. But the first series was really great. It was they did some stuff with it. It was a bit different, but it was still kind of your standard crossover fare, which isn't a bad thing. And they're doing the second series now, which is my favorite version of Batman the animated series, crossing over with the animated Turtles. And it would be really easy to do the same story again, but they're not. So it's fun seeing these 2 different versions of these like 2 first meetings, and it's great, and I love it, and there's no way it couldn't make it on my top 5. I should have read this earlier, but I'm going to choose to do it now. Kind of put some space in between us. I'm going to read what Carrie Fisher wanted her obituary to be. So an excerpt out of one of her books said, I think it was her first one. George comes up to me on the first day of filming, and he takes one look at the dress and says, "You can't wear a bra under that dress." So I say, "Okay, I'll bite. Why?" And he says, "Because there's no underwear in space." What happens when you go into space, you become weightless. So far so good, right? But then your body expands, but your bra doesn't, so you get strangled by your own bra. Now I think that would make for a fantastic obit. So I tell my younger friends that no matter how I go, I want it reported that I drowned in moonlight, strangled by my own bra. So let it be known here and throughout the world, Carrie Fisher, drowned in moonlight, strangled by her own bra. But you know what? If you're going to go out,
that'd be a hell of a way to go out.
Make them smile on your way out, I guess.
Yeah.
Which is really how I would rather end it. So just, kind of one last time, goodbye to us. She was royalty.
Yes, she was our princess.
And a general.
And a general. She was a
She
general.
really kicked some ass.
She did. And a senator. She did a
Boo
lot.
on that one.
Oh, well,
Boo.
she was a good senator.
That will do it for this conversation we had.
About things.
We don't have a topic name for it. That will bring us into letters to the editors.
Lot of questions, number one. Damn few answers.
Here's another one of your letters to the editors.
Make it so.
I was gonna say that's poor show producing on your part to not have come up with a fancy title for our. You could have like Editor's Note Podcast 2016 in review.
Look, I was going to do it a week from now, but I had to change gears.
But you couldn't have come up with something today between the time that you decided to change the show topic.
I am very busy.
You could have asked me to do it.
Could have, yeah.
Yeah, and you didn't. This is poor time allocation.
Again, I am running really low on letters. If you could ask me something in person, send an email, send a tweet.
Yeah, I got a letter to the editor. Why the hell did you come up with a better name for that last segment? That's my letter to the editor.
This one I didn't know the answer to this, so I was kind of interested to look it up.
Oh, okay.
It's a very basic one. It won't take us very long. Let's see if you can give me the answer. So, graphic novels in paperback form are referred to, as the parlance goes, as trade paperbacks. Why is that?
Because you can trade them with people and they're paperbacks, they're not hardcovers?
I mean, the second half's a little bit true, but I read that. I'm like, I don't know. But everyone just refers to them as trades or as TPBs.
See, that's too much. That's too much.
Well, I mean, if you're like have it like digitally, you'll see that like on Amazon or
Okay,
everywhere else,
yeah,
or
okay.
maybe you'll go into like TPB. I'm like, I have no idea why we just call them trades.
All right, well, why do we call them
Like,
trades?
why they collect them in trades? Turns out because we're idiots, opportunistic idiots.
Okay.
It's a publishing term for books that have a flexible cardstock that is bigger than that of a mass market paperback. So the term trade paperback isn't really comic specific.
It's based on the paper.
Just on the size of it.
Oh.
So it's really just been adopted. I mean, now it's just what we call them, but
So what do they call like portrait or landscape paperbacks?
yeah, it's just a publishing term that someone heard.
Letterhead.
Basically, someone heard it and they just kind of ran with it because they didn't probably want to ask what's a trade paperback.
That's fair.
But I thought, yeah,
That's a neat little piece of mystery.
now we know a publishing term for book companies.
All right, we're learning something every day of the week here on the show.
Oh,
Well, at least every week, not maybe every day. of the
that's
week.
what I got.
All right,
That's a show.
that's a good show. That's a year.
You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, of course, over at editorsnotecomics.com. On YouTube, I'm going to be throwing up a video yesterday or today, depending on if you hear this, because we have a Patreon. I don't know if you remember, but there's a Patreon. You can contribute just $1 a month as a thank you. $5 a month will get you the podcast a day early, including exclusive videos and additional podcasts.
What's the
Maybe other stuff.
What's the video? Have you come up with your plan for the video?
We have 2 videos up there right
Well,
now.
no, but you're gonna make it. Are you making another one for the end of the year or no?
I have a couple ideas.
Oh, okay.
I think, I don't know what the next one's going to be. I know that, well, it'll probably be the one that I have in my head.
We should do one like dashboard confessionals, and we just drive around, and I hold the camera while you drive, and we just.
I think one of the next ones it might be is just explaining the process of putting the show together.
Ooh, like they can maybe like see the studio.
Well, not even that. Well, I think that'll be a different thing, but just like showing the different steps and that it actually takes a few days to put together and then post and all that.
Oh,
Because I don't know. Because I work on this throughout the week, so usually I do. Not this. I didn't do it this week, but usually I work on it throughout the week, so I'm not just cramming at the very end.
better than most students.
Yeah. But yeah, the Patreon's there. And I'll try and... It was a downside of that video. I'm like, it's going to take an extra level of editing I don't feel like doing. But I will, for the Patreon.
For the Patreon.
And you're on Twitter.
I am at Junior Rich.
That'll do it for this week. Thanks for coming out this year. We'll be back next year. And next week we'll be...
Next year.
We'll be talking to you from the end of 2017 and giving our reviews of all the things that happened.
We're going far ahead into the future.
I hope this idea works. I just came up with it at the beginning of the show. But it
Again,
seems
the
better
planning is exquisite.
Hey, it sounds better than Next week, we're going to tell you things that are happening. If you have Google and just type movies in 2017, you can find it faster.
Well, that's what
No,
a whole segment today of the show was. We're going to talk about things. That was how you described the segment.
Talking about things. And next week, we're going to the future to review things from the past.
Tomorrow's news, today.
Is that something? Did you steal that? I feel like it's not
I
you.
feel like it's, yeah.
All right. We'll be back next week.
Thanks for thinking I'm not creative, A-hat.
Thanks for coming out.